Hey guys, Chelsea here from Making Manzanita. Today I'm going to be taking you through the process of our Moody home office makeover. This is how it started, just a boring blank room. Once we got furniture in there, it just turned into a huge mess and needed a renovation. Hey guys, so we are starting our next renovation here, our next room, and I'm so excited about it. We are redoing our home office. Right now it's just like a blank room that has not been touched at all since we've lived here. We're using it, like I said, as our home office, so Logan and I's desks are in here, but other than that, it's a pretty boring room. It's got a lot of stuff in here. It's been like our storage room, but it's gonna be beautiful when we're done. I'm really excited about the plan. So today we're getting started on it, and the first thing we're doing is tackling the ceiling, and I'll show you why. Because look at that texture. It's so ugly. And it does not match the rest of our house. I don't know why it's different in just this room. So instead of retexturing it, which would be a lot of work, we are deciding to put shiplap up on the ceiling. So we're starting that today. It's gonna be a pretty quick and easy project. We brought pre-primed shiplap, so we're just gonna throw it up. But before we do that, as you can see, Logan's putting in some recessed lights. So we're gonna replace that light fixture in the middle, actually cover that, and then put 4 recessed lights in. So that's what we're doing first. We did think we were going to have to put furring strips up under the shiplap, but we're actually not going to, because as you can see here, we found out that there is actually a layer of plywood on top of the drywall on the ceiling. So that's nice. So we're getting started today, and we'll take you along as we continue to work on this. The process of adding the shiplap to the ceiling was pretty easy. We have a full tutorial and YouTube video that walks you through the whole process if you're wondering just how to do it. But we used pre-primed shiplap, which saved us a lot of time. You can see here, it's pretty easy. You just nail it up into place. But be sure to check out that video if you want to do this as well. All right guys, things are coming along in the office. We have almost finished the shiplap ceilings. You can see up above, they're all hung and patched all of the nail holes this morning. And now we're getting ready to paint. We're painting it with a just a white ceiling paint that we use on everything. But it's looking good, don't you think? It's like a huge difference in here, especially with the new lights. It's so much brighter in here. It feels way better already, so I can't wait to get the ceiling done, and then we're gonna start on the walls. And let's talk about paint colors. Here are the paint colors that we have tried. So this is, all of these are Behr, by the way. This is Antique White, this is Crisp Linen, this is Midnight in New York, I'm pretty sure it's called, and this is Submarine Gray. So if I back up here, you can kind of see this one is pulling more blue tones and this one is pulling more green tones, but still in that like blue-green camp that I kind of want to stay in. I'm really loving this one. Love this one too, but it's a lot more blue, especially when you put some other green tones next to it. So I think this is my favorite. Logan agrees. But I'm curious which you guys would choose. Remember, we're doing all of the walls dark in here. So you can see here, I've painted samples over here. I painted them over here. And I painted them over here. So it's important when you're painting samples up on the wall to do multiple locations in your room, because the light is going to look different. Also, if you are installing new lights in your room, you want to wait and make sure that's done first. So I was super eager to start looking at paint samples, but we needed to wait until our new recessed lights were in, because this is the lighting that the room is going to be in versus like when that other light was in here, these colors would look way different. So just fun little tip for you guys. Next, we painted the shiplap ceiling with white paint. Because we were using pre-primed shiplap, we only needed to do 1 coat, so that was nice. Then we moved on to the walls. The color is Behr Midnight in New York. It was a risk to go dark in here, but I absolutely love how it turned out. It's dark. We knew it was gonna be dark. We are using a new line of Behr paint called Scuff Defense. I'll show you the label here in a sec, but the whole general idea behind it is that it's a flat finish, which means it's not shiny, it's like matte, but it is easy to clean and wipe, which is one of the downsides of normal matte paint. The big difference that we've noticed is that the coverage is very thin compared to the other usual Behr paint we use. And obviously I'm painting on a white background, so we knew we were gonna have to do more than one coat. But it was very thin. It was almost like runnier than normal paint is. But I love that it's like a matte finish, because with having no windows in here, any sort of like other finish would have just been very noticeable. So getting another coat on, but you can see here it's pretty streaky right now, but I do love the color. All right, so here's what the label looks like. So it's the Ultra line, which we normally use like Marquee or Premium Plus Ultra, which are a little better. So that's probably one of the differences we're seeing in coverage. But you can see it's scuff defense. And it is a paint and primer in one, but it's like it says there, flat finish with scuff resistance of a gloss. So we're excited to give this a try because I really like the matte look. Next, we shifted our attention to some really fun DIYs that we had planned. First up was this giant pegboard wall that we wanted to add to one of the walls in the office. We used huge 4-foot by 8-foot sheets of plywood and drilled holes in them and then hung them on the wall for the pegboard. We have a whole tutorial and YouTube video about this process, so be sure to check that out if you have any questions. It should answer all of them. Once we got the pegboard done though, I thought it was missing a little something, so we decided to add some fun painted abstract shapes. You can see here I did a semicircle on one side, a stripe at the top, and then an arch on the left corner. I think it really just added some fun character to the wall. For the shelves, we used 1/2-inch plywood and just cut them down to size. They're about 6 inches deep, which is the size of our dowels that are coming out of the pegboard. So I am shifting gears to a fun, super easy DIY that I think is gonna make a huge difference in here. So you can see behind me, we've got these real pretty mirrored closet doors. So this is originally a bedroom in the house, so that's obviously why there's a closet in here. It's gonna be some good extra storage for us. It's actually like packed full of stuff. But now that this room is nice and pretty, it's getting pretty, this gold is just like standing out like a sore thumb and looks super outdated. So I'm gonna give it a little makeover. All right guys, here is my plan. I am going to paint the gold black, all except the bottom rail, just because I don't want to have to worry about that coming off. I'm going to add electrical tape, you can see that, just plain old electrical tape to the mirror as like pane, like grid lines, so it looks like just a big giant window in here. Obviously it's gonna be obvious that it's a mirror, but I hope it just kind of brings a little style to this mirror and just kind of helps it fit better with the updated decor. So we'll give it a try. If it doesn't work, I can just take the tape off and the mirror's gonna look a lot better with the black paint anyway. Now, while this closet door makeover is definitely one of the most asked tutorials for our office makeover, I did post a whole blog post about why I was hesitant to share the tutorial, because I would actually do things a lot different if I did it again. So be sure to check out that full tutorial for more information on what mistakes I made and what I would do differently for that process. The next DIY project was a super fun one. We created a wall mount to-do list with a large roll of craft paper and a curtain rod. So that's a fun one for you to check out. Hey guys, so today I'm going to get started on the arches that are getting painted behind the desk in the office. So you can see that I have just taped up some packing paper in the rough shape that I was going for. I just wanted to test kind of the layout, the size, the height temporarily, and live with it for a couple days just to make sure I like it before I start putting paint on the walls. But now I'm going to start painting. For this one, I used chalk to make the marks on our wall because it was dark and pencil wasn't going to work, but if you have light walls, you could certainly use pencil. First, I started with the bottom. I added painter's tape to the edges that were going to be straight and pushed it down with a credit card. Next, I added some string to one end of the chalk, put it in the middle, and used that string to make a perfect arch. Then I started with my paint, and I just went very carefully along that top edge along the line. It's not perfect, but when you step back, it looks great. All right, guys, are you ready to see these crazy before and afters? Remember, this is how it started. It was a mess, and this is how it turned out when we were all done. We had so much fun working on this home office makeover. We actually teamed up with Home Depot for a lot of the products that you see featured in the room. All the furniture and decor is from Home Depot. This pegboard wall is just so amazing. There's so much storage on it, so much more than I thought. And it's just a great, fun way to display some of my craft supplies, add a lot of character to the room, and just keep things nice and organized. You can see here I have paint and yarn, twine, so many different things featured on the wall, and there's still room for a lot more. Didn't it turn out amazing? It was such a fun project, made a huge impact on the room. And for the rest of the room, we featured 2 desks side by side for a his and her office with some shelves in the middle. There's that closet makeover. We've got a bookshelf, some shelves, and that amazing shiplap ceiling. Here's some pictures of the room. We're so happy with how it turned out, and we are using it every day. It's our nice little oasis in our home and a great place to work. I hope you guys enjoyed this video showing the process of our entire home office makeover and watching it all come together. We love sharing these with you. Have a great day. Be sure to subscribe and like this video. See you next time.